I'm gonna give you a progression to improve your front rack in the clean, and we're gonna start right now. What's up everybody, it's Dane Miller from GarageStrength.com, and if this is your first time to the channel and you're interested in becoming a freak athlete, you wanna get more explosive, you wanna become a better weightlifter, make sure that you like, you subscribe, and you ring that notification bell so we can help you become a beast. Okay, so a lot of athletes, especially American football players, shot putters, anybody who tends to be extremely large and that hasn't maintained their muscle tone struggles with that front rack in the clean. A lot of guys will end up catching a clean with their elbows down, and they might even only have 2 pinkies on the bar. So it might look something like this. You might sit there and you can barely even get your elbows up, and this is actually a real front rack position held by me because I have zero mobility in my elbows and through my wrists. And so that might be the absolute worst front rack that you could possibly hold. Now, the whole goal is to get that front rack to a position similar to, say, Haley Reichert when she won the silver medal at the Pan American Championships, cleaning 107 kilos. She's catching with that full hand on the bar. She's got her elbows nice and high. Her upper back is nice and extended, and her ribs are nice and packed underneath her, right into her hips. Okay, so that's the main focus of where we want to get to, is that we want to get to the point where we have that full hand, we have our elbows in a good stable position, and that upper back is extended. So we're gonna walk you through those progressions to get you to that point. Okay, so we are here with Mason Woods, Garage Strength intern for the summer of 2021. If you wanna become an intern, you can apply in the future. Anyway, we're gonna try and improve Mason's front rack. Now, the first 2 things that we're gonna focus on, we're gonna do a tabletop lat stretch. And these are the first 2 stretches. So we're gonna get the elbows here, okay? And you can go move that grip in just a hair. Their grip, just a little bit. Yeah, and now sneak that head through. See if you can get your head like down to here. And yeah, and even like get this down a little more. So we want to see some lat mobility here. And this, we can get a little bit of a push here. So this is gonna help lengthen his lats a little bit. He might even feel a little bit of a crack in his upper back. And if we hold this for like two sets of 15 to 20 seconds, this is just to prime us, just to wake us up, just to feel a little bit better. That's good, Mason. And now he's gonna hit this, okay? We're gonna walk over to the wall, and what I wanna see Mason do is in a little bit of a squat, he's just gonna walk this up and slowly almost get his face into the wall. And that's gonna, as he walks his hands up, as we have shoulder flexion, it's gonna lead to thoracic extension. So go ahead, Mason. So even bring those feet closer to the wall. Yeah, no, and then I want this like here. He's pretty good here in his upper back. And so the main goal here is that as shoulder flexion occurs, now you can walk him back down. We want to see that extension. It's almost 100% going to happen, at least based off the studies from 2012, that we will see nice thoracic extension. And now that's one of the key concepts here, is that when we're talking about, that's good, Mason. When we're talking about hitting that good front rack, we've got to have mobility for elbow flexion. We've got to have wrist extension. We have to have shoulder flexion and shoulder external rotation and thoracic extension, or at least anti-flexion, okay, in the upper back. So there's a lot of different moving pieces. Now, we're gonna do these first 2 stretches, and then we're gonna head over to the bar. So Mason's gonna get set underneath the bar here. So bring that squat down a little bit, like a quarter squat, even a little bit lower. And we wanna come up and just stand up. Now he's already pretty mobile here. Okay, now put that back down. And give me like 2 more. Get a little bit deeper. Like bring your shoulders down a little bit and butt back now, butt back. Okay, now come back up. Okay, good, and then 1 more. Now remember, the whole goal here is that this is the position we want to work towards, and his pinkies are still off a little bit. So ideally by the end of this warm-up progression, we want to see those pinkies fully on the bar. Okay, that's good, you can rack it. Mason's probably about to black out. Now, the big key factor here is this is positional training, okay? This is what we're working for. So the stretches are just a little bit of the icing on the cake, right? Those stretches are being done to execute the actual position, okay? So every time that we're gonna be doing a progression, we're going back to that position, because by the end of this, we want that pinky on the bar, and we want to have everybody who's watching this video be able to execute that nice rack, at least with minimal amounts of discomfort. Okay, so this is the second progression. So we just did those 2 stretches. Now we're on the green roller. We're gonna try and really lengthen in his lats, try and achieve shoulder flexion here. Okay, that's gonna help really mobilize everything. And I would prefer if you dropped his hips just a little bit. Okay, and then even squeeze in through your trunk. Try and feel those abs. And you can roll back and forth. So there you go, yeah. And come back. Good, then bring those hips forward. Okay, good. So then we'll get up, Mason will get up, and we'll come back over to that lat tabletop stretch. So we want to really try and ingrain this. So give me like 15 seconds right here. Yeah, butt back and get that head through a little more, even butt back a little more. There you go. So Mason's got pretty good mobility, so he's all right. Okay, so that's good, and then we're gonna come back out and go back over to the clean. So we're gonna do that positional work on the front rack, and we want that quarter squat, elbows forward, come up, good, and then back down. And try and go down like almost halfway, yep, butt back a little more, butt back a little more, there you go, now come back up. Good, okay, good. So that's the second round of exercises. So we want to do that green roller. If you don't have a roller, you could even use a PVC pipe. You could use a couple bumper plates put together. Anything that's going to help open up that upper back and the lats even more. Then we're going to do the tabletop stretch again and then come back over to that front rack position. Oh wow. And then if that's hard, we're going to put your heels up. So Mason's going to do the green roller first, and then we're gonna come into these dumbbell raises and then back over to the actual front rack. So let's go just like 2 or 3 passes with the green roller. Try and drive those elbows to the floor and then get those, and then roll back to the hips to the floor. There you go, then one more. Okay, good, and then we'll get up. Now we'll go into these dumbbell presses here. And what I want you to think about is driving through those heels. Now, Mason doesn't have any shoes on, any lifters at least. Keep those elbows in a little bit more. Yep, now try and extend. Extend the elbows vertically. Don't keep these flexed, extend these. Yep, and then back down. Elbows in a little more, but don't let them rotate out. Try and keep your elbows in as you extend. That's where it's gonna be. So keep the dumbbell forward more. Now extend it. Ooh, okay. So give me, now, if you see what he's doing with his ankles, what I want him to do is put his ankles here, his heels. So Mason's sort of doing this, okay, with his ankles, with his heels. I want him to have his heels elevated now. So if he has weightlifting shoes, that would be ideal. If he doesn't have weightlifting shoes, he can put 10-pound plates underneath his heels. He's gonna hold here and extend, okay? Here, extend. It's almost gonna stay like the dumbbell stays out in front of your forehead. Whew. And then as you start to loosen up in that upper back and through your shoulders, you wanna feel your hips driving down into the floor. So let's get like a set of 3, nice and easy, 3, and then we'll go back to that front rack position. Keep the dumbbell in front of your forehead though. Yeah. And back up. Dumbbell in front of the forehead. Okay. One more. Okay, good. Now we'll get over onto the front rack. Okay, good. Pinkies are starting to get better on that too. Keep thinking that full pinky on the bar, full grip on the bar. Ideally, we want to see the entire hand covering that bar. Now you're starting to get a lot better position with those pinkies. Okay. Okay, good. Okay, so the next position that we're gonna be focusing on is that external rotation. Okay, so remember, there's a lot of different factors here when we're talking about racking the clean. We got external rotation, shoulder flexion, wrist extension, elbow flexion, thoracic extension, thoracic anti-flexion. So now we've got our dowel right here, and we wanna see with Mason a little bit of that shoulder external rotation work, and he's gonna try and feel that. He'll loosen it up and then try and press against it and then bring it back in. And then over this set, try and lower that hand so you get closer to that shoulder. And rotate it this way, here. Yeah. And then back in. And even try and lower your hand towards your shoulder if possible, and then rotate this way, this way. Okay, so we're gonna do that about two sets of 15 seconds on each side. Try and come across a little bit here, like this, to try and externally rotate a little bit. And then after hitting that external rotation, Mason's gonna get over onto the heel supported dumbbell front raise. We'll do just a set of 3. Since we've already executed this, we've already shown it. I would recommend doing like 2 sets of 7. And we're gonna feel that drive in through and keep that dumbbell in front of your head and lock those elbows out. It's a little better there. Maybe one more. Okay, good. Now let's get over onto the rack. Try and get that full pinky. Now we want to keep imprinting that positional work. Ideally, you can hold that full pinky. Those elbows up. Now come up to that bar. Good. Okay, back down. Give me one more. Elbows come through, up. Okay, good, good. Okay, and then that's gonna lead us into our last round of progressions. Okay, so we're gonna finish off the last round of progressions is we wanna keep working that external rotation a bit, try and loosen everything up in that shoulder girdle. So Mason's gonna hit this about 2 to 3 sets on each side. And you can even do like an active, passive work where you're passive and then you try to get really, really active as you work through that stretch. So he's a little tight in the external rotation range of motion. Try and bring that back. Bring it back this way now, and then try and come back in. Yeah, it's almost like this is the lever, and then let it go, let it loose, let it loose. Okay, and then as you let it loose, you can try and work that hand down. Okay, good. Good, and now we're gonna head over to that last ditch effort. So what Mason's gonna do, even though he's got a pretty good front rack, if I have someone like myself who has a horrible front rack, that last ditch effort to get the whole pinky on the entire barbell is gonna be a little bit of a band assistance. So we're gonna use these bands, our sweet power elastics available at garagestrength.com, and we're gonna put our elbow up on the bar here, okay? And our pinky in through the loop, and we can move that back as we get into that good position to really try and bring that elbow flexion all the way down. And that's gonna also help with wrist extension. So Mason's gonna get on there. He's gonna push into that loop. Elbow comes up on top. There you go, that's pretty good. Okay, good, now go give me some on the other side. Mason's got pretty good mobility in that position. You could do 2 sets of 15 to 20 seconds on each side. Now left side's a little bit tighter, so ideally we would try and get that down. There you go. Okay, perfect. Now get into that front rack position. I want pinkies on the bar and give me 5 front squats. It better be perfect, Mason, or you're losing your internship at Garage Strength. Okay, so he's got good position. Butt could go back a little more. Give me 2 more. Up, heels out a little too. Okay, up. Okay, good. So his pinkies are on the bar. Left side's a little bit tighter than that right side, but if you follow this progression and if you're super tight in that upper back, super tight in your lats, in your wrists and your elbows, you go through this progression 3, 4, 5 times a week. Do that for 3 to 4 weeks, and you should be able to hit that front rack with all of your fingers over the bar. So if you need help with your mobility, we got a mobility program for athletes. You can click on the link down below, head over to garagestrength.com, and you can pick up that mobility program for athletes. And if you want more videos about improving Olympic weightlifting, improving your mobility, you can click on this card right here. Until next time, guys, peace.